There are hundreds of medical schools in the US, so where exactly do I start? Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm an incoming medical student in the US who applied to medical schools in the 2020 to 2021 application cycle. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I made my school list and some of the tips for you while you make your school list. By no means is this a standard guide. It's purely based on my personal experiences and what I found useful, so please take what you find helpful in this video and use it to your advantage. Last year around this time, I got my letters of recommendation ready. I started to write my draft personal statement as well as the works and activities section of my medical school application, but I was still trying to figure out what school I wanted to apply to. That's the whole reason I wanted to make this video. I hope this video will be helpful to you, provide you with some advice for this school searching process. Where I started was using the AmStar tool, the medical school admissions requirements tool. It lists all of the information about the schools, including their MCAT, GPA requirements for applicants and matriculating students. It lists the location of the school, what their mission is, and what the different programs that they have. I started out there using different filters. First, I definitely started to look at the schools in state. Then I looked at schools that I was familiar with, either in terms of location or because there's people that I know who attend that school. Most importantly, I started to look at the schools whose mission align with the reasons I want to go into medicine. So that would include schools that really value care for the underserved, value community health programs, and have a pretty strong primary care focus. I also know that some of the school mission statements are so general that it's really hard to identify what they actually value. That's why it's really important to go into their websites and look at the programs that they offer, even the curriculum, what's the focus of the curriculum. And also maybe talking to current students who you know that attend the school may help. It doesn't really hurt even if you reach out to students that you don't know at that school, either through LinkedIn or through a mutual friend of yours. It's always good to talk to a current student and get a feel of what the school is actually like, whether this school sounds like a good fit for you or not, so you don't have to waste any money on a school that you're not really interested in. For deciding how many schools that you want to apply to, I think there are various factors that need to be taken into account. First of all is your budget. So for the first primary application, there is a $75 fee. For each additional school that you apply to, there is $40 on top of that. Overall, it could cost you around thousands of dollars to apply to medical school. However, there is the FAP program, which is the fee assistance program. So based on your household income level, you may be able to qualify for this fee assistance program that allows you to apply to 20 medical schools for free. And for a lot of medical schools, as long as you qualify for the fee assistance program, you also get to submit the secondary applications for free as well. The qualifications change every year, I believe. The advice that I got at that time is even if you think you do not qualify, still apply. The procedures are really easy, so it really never hurts to try. When you are thinking about how many schools you want to apply to, it's really a balance of higher chances of getting into one medical school and the qualities of your secondary applications, because for all of the schools that you do apply to, you have to write secondary applications for those schools, and that takes a lot of time. So you don't really want to sacrifice the quality of your secondary applications just for a larger number of schools that you apply to. So it's really a balance of these two factors. factors. Based on all of those information that I mentioned, I ultimately decided to apply to 16 schools for this application cycle. I do personally think it could be a higher number. Towards the end of this video, I'll share with you some of the personal reflections and some of the tips based on my personal reflections of this cycle with you. First of all, although I hate to say, it is the stats, the MCAT and GPA. I categorized the schools that I wanted to apply to in terms of safety school, quotation marks, because there's no safety schools when you apply to medical school, to be honest, and then target schools as well as reach schools. The definition of the safety school for me was that I had a MCAT score around 2 or 3 points above their median accepted school range. And for GPA, I was also 0.25 above their median accepted GPA level for incoming students. For target schools, I considered the schools that are within 2 to 3 points of my MCAT a target school, and also 0.25 within my GPA as my target school. Both criteria have to be satisfied too. And for reach schools, those are the schools who have median MCAT scores that are 2 to 3 points higher than my actual MCAT score, and also have a median GPA that is 0.25 higher than my actual GPA. For me personally, I had a 3.88 GPA and a MCAT score of 515. I felt like I had a pretty solid GPA, so I categorized these schools mainly based on my MCAT score. Besides the GPA and MCAT are the school's mission statements. If it's not very obvious, you could take a deeper dive into their websites and look at their programs, curriculum, what kind of activities they offer to medical students, and even talk to the current medical students who are at that school. Also, location, whether it's in-state, out-of-state, whether it's in a suburban, metropolitan, or rural area. I also looked at their graduation indebtedness, how much loans the students carry once they graduate. This is a pretty good indicator of how generous the schools are with their scholarships and tuition assistance programs. Also, there is the curriculum and their grading system. So most of the schools right now adopted a pass and fail system. However, there's also schools that say that they're pass and fail, but they still have a internal ranking system of their students, and also have like honors pass and fail. And then there's the residency placement. So for their graduating classes, what kind of specialties the students go into. Those are all factors to consider when you are making your medical school list. Based on all of this information, I know it's been a lot. I made an Excel sheet color coding the schools based on target, safety, or reach schools, and inputting all of these columns like location, graduation indebtedness, what their mission is, if they have an MPH, Master of Public Health program. This was also something that I was interested in, all into this one Excel sheet. It was a really helpful way for me to visualize and organize all of the information at once. So let me know if you would like a template of this Excel sheet, and I could link it down below. There was a pretty big rise in applicant numbers during the 2020 to 2021 application cycle. Some of the people call this the Fauci effect. If you would like to see more discussions on this, I made a video regarding my rejections and also discussion of the Fauci effect linked over here. With this rise in applicant numbers, I felt like applying to 16 schools was definitely too little. I feel very fortunate that I am going to medical school, but looking back, I definitely should have applied to more medical schools, especially programs that are out of the state of California. Second advice would be to do deep research into the medical schools that you could be potentially interested in terms of their programs, curriculum, to see if they're actually a good fit. There were schools that I just heard from a friend who attends that school and how amazing their experience is, so that's why I applied. Those are the schools whose mission don't really align with my reason of going into medicine. They're really strong strong in terms of research, but not so much in terms of primary care or community health or commitment to the underserved population, and I still applied to that school. Obviously, they could tell from my secondary applications, even I felt like an imposter when writing the secondary applications. Getting into medical school is hard, so maybe right now you're just thinking about, oh, if I get into one medical school, then I'll just be very happy and satisfied. But I would encourage you to think long term. You really want to be at a school that fits your values and values what you value. So that initial spark of going into medicine could continue to be enlightened throughout the journey. Third advice is something that I wish I have done more, is to reach out to the current students at that medical school, either through LinkedIn or through mutual friends, and really learn about the medical schools and what they're like. I know the time is also limited, so maybe watching YouTube videos and read blog posts on the medical school students' experiences might really help. You're always more likely to like a school or have a better gauge of what the school is like through someone talking about it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in other pre-med content or my journey to medical school and in medical school. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.